Morning everyone, welcome to Food and Beverage Engineering Live and Sustainable Food Factory. My name is Tom Flood, I'm today's moderator. I'm the co-founder of a startup called Engineers Insight, where we connect engineers through their phone to industry. Today we're focused on one thing, improving how the industry performs in a real practical sense. That means improving reliability, reducing downtime, improving energy efficiency, increasing productivity, and making better use of existing assets. Throughout the day, you'll hear from engineers, operators, technologists, and industry leaders who are dealing with these challenges every day. So let's get started. Our first speaker is Andy Gailey, Managing Director, UPTIME Consultant. His presentation is titled Sustainable Reliability Today. Please welcome Andy.
Thanks very much for that, Tom, for that introduction. Sustainable reliability. So I want to talk about how the co-located shows actually are two sides of the same coin. Because when you're in manufacturing, if you're not reliable, then you're not going to be sustainable. That means your business is not going to survive, but also you're not going to hit all those KPIs in your sustainability plan. So I'm going to talk about that. I'm also going to touch on people, the importance of people and training. I'm going to share with you a story of a real plant in the UK, a 5-year journey. And then I'm also at the end, I'm going to ask you to do 3 things today, opportunities for you during the show. So we think it's that important that 11 years ago when we formed UPTIME Consultant, our tagline became Sustainable Reliability Today. That's because when I worked for 20 years in the food industry, I realised that everything in maintenance and engineering and reliability feeds into using less inputs, water, gas, electric, also improving productivity, yields, pence per kilo, SKUs, wherever you work in. In manufacturing, especially in food manufacturing, it can be a little bit like visiting the casino. You've only got so many chips to bet or to spend, and you've got to choose where you spend those that resource. Could be labour, could be actually money. So I'm going to ask you now, this is the audience participation part of the day, the first one. I'm going to ask you to pick a percentage and keep it to yourself, because we'll come back later. What percentage do you think engineers and maintainers in the UK spend on reacting to unplanned events? Is it 20%? Is it 60%? Or is it 80%? So we'll come back to it and see if you place your bets on the right percentage. Whenever I visit new or existing clients, if they have a sustainability function, that function usually sits in 3 silos, and they tend to sit there and they look at the inputs of electricity, water and gas. And they're probably missing a really big opportunity here, because I believe that our people and the skills that they have are the biggest opportunities on the shop floor to hit those KPIs with your sustainability targets, use less of these inputs, or gas and water, and also improve your yields on your key ingredients. So everybody talks about this word reliability, and when you actually think about it, it's quite a hard one to define. Reliability in the reliability space means that the assets that you purchase deliver the value and the nameplate speed that you required in the first place. And if they don't, then you're already on the road there towards becoming unsustainable. The thing is if you get reliability and maintenance and engineering right from the get-go when you design a new piece of equipment, it will tick every single KPI when it comes to sustainability. And if anybody wants to come and discuss that with me afterwards, later on in the day, I've got some figures there to show you that actually is the case. 6 more silos here. So these are the key areas that I tend to look at and work in, where it adds the most value to a food and beverage manufacturer. Top left, if you haven't got your criticality sorted out and you don't know what your asset group looks like, then how the hell can you maintain it? There's no way you can choose which type of maintenance practice to carry out if you don't know what you've got. So that's a key step, and probably one of the first ones that I would advise anybody with. That then provides your approach to asset care. So do you go down to TPM level where you've got operators carrying out basic stuff, or do you rely heavily on reactive or planned or some proactive predictive methodologies? If you get those two pieces right, then your process alignment and the amount of tonnage you are planning becomes easier, because then your assets are available. That means that you're going to use less labour. That means that your maintainers aren't going to be stressed. It also plays into safety, because reliable plants are the safest plants on the planet. So it stands to reason, really, if you're doing something that's unplanned, it's more risky than doing it in a planned piece of work. And again, people and skills. None of this happens unless we invest in our people. And obviously we hear these phrases that people are our most important asset, and they're the key to the business, and then there's very, very little investment in those people on how they can apply skills. Again, we can't really argue about this, that less skilled people, we would have worse outcomes. So obviously people are up to speed, then you're going to end up with better outcomes on your shop floor. And it all builds into going back to sustainable reliability. The sustainable reliability piece, when I thought about that at the start, it was actually about sustainability, using less, more efficiently, but it was also about, when you do your work with maintenance and engineering reliability, is sustaining it over time. Let's not look at it as a project and then let it fall by the wayside. This is a story that I alluded to at the start, 5 years, and you can see on the far left there, we had double percentage points in unplanned downtime. And that's a killer when it comes to a food and beverage manufacturer, because the margins are quite low. And we'd only got 73% availability. That meant that a quarter of the time, the assets that we wanted, if we wanted to run those assets, were not available. And this was in the UK's largest snack food manufacturing plant in the UK. So it's not a small operation, as you can see, even at that low level of availability. It was a 900 tonne a week snack food plant. So you imagine the snack food that comes in 25 gram bags, imagine 900 tonne. The opportunities were immense. The business took a step change. It came from on high, and we were going to change the way we worked, and most of that was operations and engineering. We had to change our approach. The first 2 years was all about people and skills. None of it was technology. We already had all of the technology that we needed. In fact, we didn't change any technology. We didn't change our CMMS. We didn't have to go and buy any AI or ML. It was all about people. And once those 18 months, 2 years passed by, we'd eradicated 30% of the historic plant maintenance. There was adding no value, there was actually harming the assets. By the end of it, we'd hit world-class maintenance standards at less than 2%. It was 1.8% period on period. That means you're in control. That means the assets don't tell you where to go. You decide the improvement practices you're going to carry out. Your technician group starts to become engineers. Maintainers aren't really they're not there to go fix things every day. They're there to engineer plant. So that meant our engineers were freed up to do that. And we hit 95%. The last 5%, that's unattainable, that's sanitation, that's changeovers. Because we were looking at, there's 24 hours in a day and 60 minutes an hour. We weren't going to fool ourselves with any grey areas. So this is attainable. The problem is that people see this in traditional engineering maintenance operations and go, well, why should I do that work? It's going to take 5 years. Well, you can see at the end of this, we were hitting records of 1,200 tonnes at that plant. We were knocking it out of the park. To demonstrate it, at the front line, here we've got 5 shift engineers. It's kind of the thing I see still on a 12-hour shift. There'll be 5 or 8 technicians, engineers, and 4 of them on the right there are employed in totally reactive work. They come in for a 12-hour shift, and they know they're going to revisit all the same breakdowns, shift on shift, and they're probably going to use a sticking plaster approach because they need that line back up and running. And by the end of the shift, that person that's working on the left in a proactive state, they're going to be dragged into it. And if you placed your bets on 80%, that's what it is. This comes from a Made Smarter study of a few years ago in the UK. Looked at all industries, but there were parts in there, food and beverage, and it said that 80% of the time we're spending our time, money, resource on fixing things that are breaking. The three opportunities I alluded to at the start, I think this is important. Setting the stage here is that step outside your silo. So if you're in engineering and maintenance, go and talk to sustainability people, and if you're in sustainability, make sure you go and find out about something from the engineering and maintenance side that may tick your KPIs when it comes to sustainability. I always go to shows and I want to learn something brand new. I want to find out something I know nothing about and then learn more about it at the show, make some contacts and then go away, probably study that, understand more about it. There's already a few stands around here that I've seen that I'll definitely be going to find out more. And take an action away. It's no good coming here today and going through the motions, having the free breakfast, having a wander around, pick some souvenirs up, and then not going away and taking any action. So yeah, again, I'd ask you to go, if you get an email or a card, even if you just say thank you for your time, that'd be, you know, exhibitors love to have feedback about what they did today. So that's really all I've got to say about it. The other fourth one I could add there is that next year, so I believe it's on the 23rd of June, 2027, make sure you bring along a co-worker with you or an apprentice or somebody else that might be interested in the food and beverage sector. So now I'm going to hand over to Oliver Mottershead from CBM Partners, and I'm sure he's going to tell you more about these proactive and predictive strategies you can apply to your food and beverage factory. I'll see you later over at the stand if you want to come and have a look at Uptime Consulting.
Thanks, Andy. Straight to the next one. It's back-to-back agenda all day.